Satsang-31. The 6 virtues or qualities. 3rd December 1934. Morning Satsang. Victory or success, riches, glory, desirelessness, charity or generosity, and wisdom are the 6 virtues or good qualities. The word yash means success or victory. Whom should we call a successful person? Only one who is victorious over illusion should be called successful or victorious. It is difficult to conquer Maya, the illusion. To call it illusion and to still employ Maya to serve is quite difficult. One who conquers illusion is victorious. Only then can one be called successful. Then there is desirelessness, which simply means not to have any desire for anything. However, charity or generosity is important. It is possible to be desireless, but it is difficult to be charitable. This means to give in charity that which you possess. However, you are not willing to give up the hold that you have on your possessions. How can you be willing to give up what you possess on one hand, when on the other hand, you deceive others? You give 2 dimes when you should give 4. There is a story of a man who was not guarding his field. Someone asked him, "Why don't you guard the crops in your field?" And he answered, "I have kept it open so that it may be useful for others. Let people take away what they want." Well, robbers did come, and they said, "Let us not rob from his field. We will rob from the fields of those who protect their possessions zealously." The sign of the Supreme Self, Param Atman, is charity, generosity of spirit. Param Atman is one in all. The so-called enemy is Param Atman. Children are Param Atman, and the wife is Param Atman. One should never be jealous or envious of anybody. One should never find fault with others. One who behaves like this is Param Atman. He is the beloved Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, "I am that and nothing else. Yet while I am Param Atman, people think that I am an individual jiva, and they insult me. So I give them many hardships. While they are enjoying their so-called happiness, I put them in very painful situations. Why? Because they think that I am an individual and so believe themselves to be an individual. I tolerate this because it is my nature to forgive." Nevertheless, they lift me, Krishna, from the king's throne and throw me into the fire. They put themselves into very painful experiments and tests on all sides, while I am very simply and naturally one and alone, Atman. And yet they imagine strange things and try to give me pain in all kinds of ways. That is why I do not give liberation even to those who have undergone very austere spiritual practices. And on the contrary, I send them to many more births because of their adamant mind. Therefore, devotion to me, Krishna, Atman, should be free of any desire for sensory enjoyment, devoid of all wishes or demands, and free from imagination. Look at the strange attitude of the individual. Although he is the Supreme Self, he thinks himself to be an individual. This is to totally miss the mark, and thereby one wastes his life. There is a story about a group of fishermen. One day they were late in returning to their homes. It soon became dark, and they could not travel any further. Nearby was a house of a rich man who was purely vegetarian. They went to his house for shelter. He welcomed them, received them with respect, and made a suitable arrangement for sleeping in the outer corridor. As the rich man had a good flower garden, there were fragrant flowers stored in some baskets in that corridor, and the smell of the flowers was everywhere. The night air was also pleasantly cool. However, the fishermen could not get proper sleep because of the heavy fragrance of the flowers. Since they could not stand the fragrance of the flowers, they took the pieces of cloth that they used to cover their fish and tied them round their heads so that their noses could only smell the odor of fish. It was only then that they could get some sleep. In short, the mind of the individual is similarly addicted to sense objects. It likes to live in the same ignorant way all the time. It is very difficult to break the habits of the mind and lift it to a higher level. Why does one become a body? It is because of the false egoistic tendencies, the vasanas. To be the body means to be identified with and limited and shaped by a particular form, like a clay pot. It is to be identified with a limited intellect, limited enjoyment, and a limited consciousness. The individual does not wish to have no form, no sensation, or to be extremely vast and spread out everywhere. We presume that it is death if we become vast like that. Thus, there is a liking for a particular form. This is what is called body consciousness. And because of it, the desire for objects increases. Realize that you are Brahman, absolute pure consciousness. Do not harbor desire for objective things. Desirelessness means to let go of that which only disappears anyway. True charity means to say, nothing is mine. As I am not the body, how can anything belong to me? I am the Supreme Self, Param Atman, beyond the body.